Hello and welcome to this lesson on Copilot, an amazing tool that Microsoft offers us. To use it, you need to complete a series of steps, meaning you must follow a complex procedure. Not difficult, but complex because it involves several steps, after which we will be able to use Copilot. This lesson is dedicated to installing Copilot and all the steps needed to start using it. But before that, I want to show you what can be done. With Copilot, we'll quickly make examples to see what we can do with it. Then, in the second step of the lesson, we'll go through the entire installation procedure. I have obviously already installed it on my computer and also created this icon. On the desktop, using the direct shortcut to Copilot, we'll open it. So I double-click, Microsoft Start opens, and now I click on this icon at the top right. This is the Copilot icon. I'll open it. So let's open it and immediately ask it some questions, because through this chat, Copilot lets you ask questions on various topics. On any topic you can think of and need information about, it will provide a range of relevant details, both descriptive and as formulas. If you ask it for a formula in Excel, Access, or DAX for Power BI, it will give you information useful for school research, a presentation, or a thesis. So let's try a few quick examples, then we'll go through the entire installation process. For example, to sum cells in Excel, suppose I don't know how to do it, I press Enter. And now Copilot will generate its response. So it gives us descriptive information, but now we will scroll through this response. It also gives us precise information on how to sum between two cells in Excel. So it explains to us what a sum is and how the data is added in Excel. And it also shows us exactly how they are added. For example, you need to add the cell references in an empty cell. If we want to add up the values of an entire column, in this cell, we must write from A2 to A10. And it will add all the values in this column. Here, I can obviously access Microsoft support directly to learn more. So he directly created links to Microsoft support. And then down here, it offers us other solutions with direct links related to the topic in general. Specifically to Microsoft support in this case. We also see other links that we can open. Here, for example, there are YouTube tutorials explaining how to do this. And below, it also immediately offers other types of analyses on Excel, including how to create Traxel formulas. So here it offers us subtraction, and it also offers multiplication. As you can see, it's an extraordinary tool. Let's try asking it another question. For example, a Microsoft Access script to open a linked form. For example, I am on the quotes form. I am on a specific quote and want the report for that quote to open. So from those quotes, obviously I should write a macro, but what should I write in this macro? Copilot is going to tell us immediately. It will give us precisely the formula which we obviously need to customize with the data from our tables and according to the names of the objects in our Access application. As you can see, it doesn't just give us descriptive information, but it really gives us scripts to insert in the Access programming language to obtain this function. Moreover, Copilot can also be used effectively at school in the sense that it is possible to quickly produce presentations for high school or university graduation theses. Not in the sense that Copilot fully writes the presentation or the graduation thesis, but it automatically generates outlines with a series of points on a given topic, which can obviously serve as a solid foundation for our research, followed by a whole series of links to delve deeper. Quickly, let's take an example. So here, I'm going to log in. I am logging in with my personal account. There you go, it's personal. I open Copilot and start writing. When doing research for a thesis or a dissertation, obviously the topic is very specific. I'm going to write, for example, create a summary for me with bullet points on Giacomo Leopardi's moral operettas. Let's see what it pulls out for us. First of all, it gives us information, and as you see, it creates a real summary for us. So what can we do here? Then, as you see, there are other links here to retrieve information about the morali operettas. At this stage, I can also go create a Word file of all this that Copilot generated. So here we go to Export Word. It has been exported to the Downloads folder. So in the Downloads folder, we can find it, then move and rename it as we like. Let's open it, but for the moment, directly from here. And let's see, let's activate the edit. Let's see that he has reported all the points that he found with his automatic search. And for example, we could go directly, also create the summary. So assign the levels. Here, go to References, add text. This will be level 1. Then let's continue here. Add text, level 1. And if we wanted to insert subparagraphs next for our table of contents, here we need to click on level 2. Then for other subparagraphs, level 3. What does that imply? That means we can now, after assigning the levels, proceed directly. Now I'm talking about a word feature, which, however, comes from this use of Copilot. We can directly create the table of contents, meaning we will choose a table of contents format depending on the level assignments. Now, Word has automatically created the table of contents for us. What does that imply? That if now the headings and content, I add something else. I go here at the top of the table of contents, and by clicking Update Table of Contents here, Update the entire table of contents has added this word and others that I may have added on page 50. It is also possible to receive immediate suggestions for business organizations. Let's take an example. For example, I can ask Copilot to create a task list for me, to organize a medical conference event. Suppose I am at the early stages of this work. Because obviously, those who have been doing it for a long time know how to do it. I will click here, and also in this case, as in the final thesis, I will obtain a whole series of relevant information on how to start this work. Definition of objectives. Identification of the recipients. As you can see here, you can also click on these specific points. How to identify the recipients. How to choose a venue for a conference. How to promote the event. How to plan the activities. How to select and manage the staff. The final report that must then be completed to the event organizing committee. In this case as well, we can then proceed to export files from Word to PDF as we wish, then obtain additional information. Let's try another question. Create a list of performance indicators for me. Let's also add a keyword. The most relevant KPIs for the company. Let's take a company that has never done management control and wants to start doing something. So here too, I click on Send, and it gives me a whole range of information. Actually, it gives me a complete list of performance indicators, the most relevant in a company. He tells me what it is. He cites 3 of them for me. He provides me with 3 related to efficiency, 3 related to quality, 3 related to safety, and 3 related to value. As you can see, it's truly an extraordinary tool, even for businesses. Let's now move on to this second step of the video lesson to examine in detail. These are all the steps to use Copilot. I'm going to open it, and as you can see, all the steps are there. Steps to take to get there, to use Copilot. The first step is to check whether Windows updates are necessary. So the first thing to do is to make sure that our Windows system on the computer is up to date with the latest updates. So let's open this first slide of support featuring the Windows icon. I will open this window. I will choose the settings. Another window will open. I will select Windows Update, and then I will check if there are updates available. So I'll press ESC to close this full screen slide. Otherwise, it doesn't let me access the desktop. Here are the Windows interface windows. I choose Settings. Then I choose Windows Update, and I will check the availability of updates. At the end of this operation, as we can see with the blinking text, also on the slide, you need to restart the computer. Next, we will proceed with other operations. Obviously, I'm not going to restart it now. Here, I'm going to close, because obviously, I have already installed Copilot. I will close it. I move on to the next step. So we move on to the second step, downloading the file package for the installation. So you have to go to a third-party website from Microsoft, which designed this system, to quickly install Copilot. So let's move on to the second slide. You need to go to this site and download this package. I've put the direct link to the site here for you. Me too, I'm putting myself in your shoes. Who is following this video course? I'm going to click on the link and I'm going to download this file here. It will save it to the Downloads folder, which I have already opened in the meantime. Now it has been downloaded. Here there are 4 files. They are compressed in this zip file. Now we will look at the third step. That is to say, where to place these files. So I close this full screen slide mode. I return to the PowerPoint file, the slide. I return to the PowerPoint file. I reopen the slide summary in full screen, and I will click on Extract Files from the package onto the local PC. Because these files must be placed in a specific folder, not simply downloaded and put into any folder. So here's the zip file we saw in the Downloads folder. So we're going to open it. We will click on Extract All. We will click on Browse. At this stage, we will look for this exact folder. That is to say, on this PC, the C drive, Windows System 32. We will select it, and inside this folder, we will install these files. So we will carry out this operation. And so we go to the Downloads folder. We are opening this zip file. There are files to extract. So we click on Extract All. Browse to the location where you want to put them. We said we need to put them in this PC, Drive C, Windows folder. And inside the Windows folder, there it is in the System 32 subfolder. And once the folder is selected, we will extract the files right into this folder. So they are already there. In any case, you need to follow exactly the same steps. They have been installed in this folder. So here we can close and move on to the next step. So let's look at another step. Specifically, the activation process of the Copilot Assistant in the command prompt. In other words, we go here and see that we need to open the command prompt. Because then by entering these codes, the Windows system, it will retrieve these files that we downloaded in this System 32 folder. The codes to copy, which I provide in the description of this video. Then we will need to write the command prompt. We will need to open the command prompt as an administrator. Then proceed to writing all of this code. So let's take a look. How do we do it? Here, obviously, you can copy them. If you open the slide, but as I said, I have left them in the description for you, so it won't be necessary. Still here? Let's open the command prompt. Command prompt. Let's run it as an administrator. We are logging in. Now let's copy these codes. So I copy them from here. You will find them as indicated in the description. I copy the first code, and I'm going to paste it. As you can see, it retrieved from the folder all the information related to the files we downloaded. So I'm going to copy the second one. I position myself here. and I paste. I copy the third one, and I paste it. I copy the fourth one, and I paste it. I copy the fifth one, and I paste it. And then I copy the last one, and I paste. And at this point, I just need to close the prompt. Execute command. So how do we activate Copilot? Here too, there's this web address that I'm giving you. Also, in the description, you can find it to copy and paste. With this address, we will also create a desktop shortcut like I did to quickly access Copilot by pressing keys together on the keyboard. And the R key. It will open. Or we will paste. We will click OK, and then check that Copilot has been installed. I have already installed it. If I click OK, it starts automatically. At this point, it has started, and from here, I can go straight to using it.